Welcome to the Rock Fight, where we speak our truth, slay sacred cows, and sometimes agree to disagree. This is an outdoor podcast that aims for the head. I'm Colin Shawnté, and joining me today, she's the current FKT holder when it comes to writing guidebooks. It's Shawnté Celebrate!
Wow, it's so untrue. I feel like I'm the slowest known time for writing guidebooks. Don't ask me how long I've been working on my current book.
I think that that's a slow, painful process for anybody.
Yeah,
you're the fastest.
I'm the fastest at the slowest, most painful. Yeah, like they say, last one to Canada wins on the PCT. Last one to their publisher wins. I hope my publisher's not listening today.
Right?
Shh,
That'd probably be a good idea. No, she's well ahead of schedule,
yeah,
I think.
basically wrote a whole second, third book. I'm deep in. It's a series now. Multi-part series.
Serialized guidebook.
The second and third parts of it are just basically my journal entries from the process of writing this. So
I think a serialized guidebook is a good idea. I think it's kind of like, okay, so you're at the trailhead. Now wait till next month. We'll tell you where to go next. Just hunker down.
That's going to be my next podcast, is just day by day taking people along the trail. Actually, I bet there are people who would listen to that. I'm just going to narrate each day on a long trail.
It's like a vlog, but it's just a daily podcast.
Yeah, every 3 days it's just crying. Why am I doing this?
This is totally normal.
This sucks.
How does Cheryl Strayed do it?
How did Cheryl Strayed? We saw it in the movie. Reese showed us.
That's right.
Did a lot of throwing.
Well, today, Shawnté and I are going to be talking about the future of Rock Fight, and we are going to gear up for the launch of Gear Abbey. And I just realized I forgot to write down my programming reminders as I wrote notes for yours only. So for programming reminders, did you hear Monday's episode of the Rock Fight? If not, you should go back and listen to it. It's stellar. And actually, I don't need to have my programming reminders written down, because the other big news of the week is just yesterday. Guess who was on Open Container?
Who could it be?
You know who it was.
Moi?
It was you!
It was me! I still cannot believe that Doug, delightful Doug, whose voice is like a balm to my soul, agreed to have me on for some reason.
Hashtag delightful Doug.
Delightful Doug. It was quite a treat, honestly. I just want to talk to Doug once a week. I actually just want Doug to be my therapist. So, Doug, if you're listening...
That's fair. I think he'd be into that.
I could pay you $50 a week, Doug.
Do you want to reveal to the listeners like what container was actually opened?
You know what? I just had a glass of water, so. No, we talked about some. Doug asked me a lot of really lovely questions about my experiences on long trails, but we also talked a lot about. I grew up in the inner city. We talked a lot about urban nature and sort of how we find nature where we are, and of course, we talked about Gear Abbey, which we'll get into a bit more. But
yes.
But yeah, it was a really special conversation. And yeah, Doug, you were an absolute delight. Delightful Doug, hashtag. I hope people enjoy the episode. I am much less filthy. I was basically just an angel baby on that entire episode. So look what happens when you're not around, Colin.
Owen should listen to that one.
Oh, and you would like it, honestly. I don't even... I think if poop was brought up at all, it was Doug that brought it up.
Yeah, let's just blame Doug. It's fine.
Yeah.
Hashtag blame Doug.
No, blame delightful Doug.
So last programming reminder, this Friday, Matt Sutton from Columbia, the SVP of marketing for Columbia, is coming on to talk about Engineered for Whatever and the blowback to Engineered for Whatever. So we're excited about that. But Shawnté, how should our folks listening to this maybe follow along with the pod, reach out to us, all that good stuff?
So many ways. I'm just going to highlight 3, Colin. First, you know what? You can sign up for our newsletter by heading to rockfight.co. Colin spends a lot of time and energy and puts a lot of heart into the newsletter.
I haven't done that yet this week, but yes.
But at some point he will.
At some point it will. Another one will arrive in your inbox.
At some point in the future. Special delivery from Colin. 2, you could also follow us on Instagram to get video clips of me looking very sweaty because I don't have air conditioning in my house. But from all of our podcast episodes, you can see sweaty me and not so sweaty other people with central air. And finally, you can email us at myrockfight@gmail.com with your questions, comments, concerns, love notes. You can also send me a Venmo, as we've discussed. You're going to understand why in a minute. But I need drinking money thanks to Colin and what he's laid out for me today. But yeah, stay in touch. We love you guys. We wouldn't have a podcast if we didn't have listeners.
Well, we do have a few updates on the Rock Fight, and I'm not an overly sentimental podcast person. I tend to bristle when people are like, "Oh my God, we made it to 50 episodes." Like, wow, how'd you do it? Like that kind of thing.
Talking
like it's just
into
like
a mic every damn week.
Right? Just if you stick to it, if you want to do it, these things come along. But next Monday will be the 400th episode of the Rock Fight, which I'm like, that's kind of awesome. And we did it in less than 3 years, which is even more awesome. Which means we've uploaded a lot of podcasts.
There were
some times back. Yeah, back in the beginning, I was ripping off 5 a day. 5 a day. 5 a day. Can you imagine that?
Colin. Just a machine.
I was ripping off it was daily. It was like 5 a week. And I just really wanted to kind of, do as much as I can and explore the medium, and I had the time to do it, and it was great. From the beginning, it's definitely the industry part of the pod is kind of what has really taken off. I didn't know if I wanted to talk about outdoor industry stuff. I just kind of wanted to get off my hot takes about the outdoors, some of which were industry focused. Some of them were the first episode is ski resorts aren't isn't an outdoor sport. So, so adventure topics have always been part of it, but it's gotten, and you know what? I got to give our pal Justin Hausman credit. He's the one who said, I don't think there's enough bandwidth to talk about this stuff on the adventure side of it.
Rude.
It's like, I feel like everything has been said, and this was way back when we first started doing this. And, I think the things that we can hang our hat on here with Shawnté and I doing this, and Justin too, when he was here too, was kind of like, was our point of view. That's what's interesting, frankly, like how we approach these things, because there is a lot of same still in the stories. If you go look around on all the kind of outdoor media websites, and I've talked about this a lot lately, it's not real different. There's a lot of same out there in terms of the stuff that's covered. But the thing that I am excited about, and we're going to talk about more about it in a second, with Gear Abbey launching, hosted by Shawnté Salivert. Sitting on the other side of the Zoom camera.
I'm here. I'm still here. I'm letting Colin have his soliloquy right now. I don't want to interrupt his flow.
I don't have a lot left to say. I feel like on the outdoors on a weekly basis. And the thing I'm most excited about with Gear Abbey is this sort of new format that we're bringing when it comes to these topics. Most outdoor podcasts tend to kind of settle on here's a person, we're going to interview that person. There's a lot of things that you're going to probably have already known, or it's not going to be that original, and maybe you'll get something out of it, maybe you won't, whatever. The reason I'm so excited for our listeners to hear Gear Abbey is, number one, your point of view, and then also I do co-host that, so I'm going to be on Gear Abbey. I'm so excited about that.
We will be reunited.
Yeah, I guess what we're saying is I guess I'm beating around the bush. The Wednesday episodes, we are moving on from the Wednesday adventure episodes.
Me is what he's trying to say. Colin called me today and made me cry is what he's trying to say.
God, he's shaming me on the pod. Yeah, I did.
It's my last opportunity, apparently.
I said, Salivert, you're out. But also you're promoted because you got your own podcast.
It's true. It's a double-edged sword, really. No, I mean, it's interesting because as I told Colin today, in between my tears, it's been a real banner month for me over here, let me tell you. I told him, I said, listen, this has been a highlight for me and what's been quite a difficult few months for me personally, that coming on here every Monday for us, and then obviously y'all listen to it on Wednesdays, but every Monday afternoon, sitting here with my buddy Colin True and bantering about all things outdoor and adventure and some environmental news and this and that has been an absolute joy. And it's been such a delight becoming part of the Rock Fight team and co-hosting this with you. And he promised to not disappear me into the ether. I will be back.
No way.
But yeah, it's been a real delight, and I'm gonna miss it. I'm not gonna lie, but I think we're gonna have to incorporate. We've recorded some Gear Abbeys. We're about to launch next week.
Yes,
we'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But the banter you love will not go away. It's just going to be on a different show in a different format. But
correct. And for those of you who have enjoyed having Shawnté here, you are going to continue to hear her on The Rock Fight. So the plan is, The Rock Fight's really, it's going to be an industry podcast. Mondays with Owen and Dave, that's going to be the kind of featured episode of the week. We are going to feature other industry personalities like we have in the past, maybe a little bit more frequently, hopefully on average about once a week. But that, in addition to that, you're going to hear Shawnté and Schnitzbahn and maybe more from Owen and a bunch of other personalities that we're kind of forming relationships with on the podcast as well. But on average, about twice a week, kind of down from that. it was time to sort of like streamline the rock fight and then make sure we're spending as much time as we can bringing up Gear Abbey and also Open Container with Doug as well.
And if you have anything to say about this, such as, boy, Colin, you're an idiot for letting Shawnté go and not hosting the Wednesday episode anymore, you know the email. It's myrockfight@gmail.com.
I'm waiting. There's a guy named Troy who we're going to hear from for sure.
I don't want to actually, if you get any emails from haters that are like, thank the good Lord you have that woman is gone, don't send those to me, Colin. I don't want to know.
Those people are banned from the rock fight universe. Yeah. No, I just got to make sense right now, guys. And I think that is what we're really building the future of rock fight as the brand off of the industry side is on the rock fight. Our more gear and adventure focus is going to be on Gear Abbey, and then Open Container for our broader outdoor kind of culture commentary with Doug Schnitzbahn. And that's going to be the lineup that we're going to be riding to victory. And it's going to be good.
Riding to victory. It's just so action-filled. I like that.
That's right. We are the leader of the outdoor podcast here on the Rock Fight Podcast Network. But all tears aside, let's preview for a second what you have going on. Let's talk about Gear Abbey. September 4th, Thursday. Mark it down.
Yeah.
By the time this comes out, the trailer should be out.
We just recorded that. So as long as that actually recorded.
And we'll link that in the show notes. And then, next week, Thursday, September 4th, tell us, why'd you want to... You called me after listening to Gear and Beer.
Yeah, Gear and Beer, R.I.P. I really miss you, Gear and Beer, but you love to kill a podcast. So...
I'm very metrics driven.
So metrics driven. This was about exactly a year ago, Colin. I think it was maybe last September. Maybe end of September. I was driving up to Yosemite. I was going up there to do some field work for the book I'm working on. And I was kind of like just pounding episodes of Gear and Beer. And there was one where at the end of the episode, Colin and Justin are chit-chatting and they said something like, oh, we should have Shawnté on and she could just answer everybody's questions. And I texted him before I lost service. I was like, I'll be your Gear Abbey.
It was the best.
And Colin's like, this man loves an idea, y'all. And by the way, Colin just doesn't love an idea. He actually gets shit done once he loves something. So the problem is if you tell him something, he's going to hold you to it for almost a year. And then suddenly you have a podcast.
See, so it's actually your fault we're canceling Wednesdays because I've been valuing your idea so much. We're going to do that instead.
I can't believe you don't want to still talk about Everest every week and instead create a whole new podcast. But I suppose we can. But I thought about it and when we started having conversations and I loved this idea of answering people's questions. Most people do not know this about me. I used to write a sex column when I was a writer for an alt weekly back in the day. And I also used to be a school social worker. I've taught environmental education and things like
mutually
that.
Exclusive?
They are definitely different. Although I did teach sex ed in elementary. I was sixth grade.
By reading your column?
No, that would have been terrifying for the children. No, I used to teach sixth grade sex ed too. So that not my favorite part of being a social worker, but yeah, so I love the idea of democratizing knowledge and I like sharing what I learned. I think about listen, all the things when I was a kid. I mean, Doug and I talked about this a bit, but I wasn't born backpacking. I grew up in the inner city. So for me, I've had people guide me along the way. And, I learned that, there's people I can trust to answer my questions and not be a dick about it. And I would like to be that for people. So the idea is you can send any question you have that's tangentially or directly related to the outdoors, people, places, products, pastime, and your relationship to them, our relationships to them. And I will do my best to answer them, or I'm just going to dig deep. I have been an outdoor journalist for a long time. I've got a pretty deep Rolodex, even though Rolodexes don't exist anymore, of outdoor athletes and brand connections and all sorts of people that can help answer the questions I can't. So it's going to be fun.
It's going to be awesome. And look, as much as it's making you sad that you're not going to do this particular episode every week.
Damn it.
It's... Honestly, part of it is because this is the podcast that I want from the adventure side of things.
Yeah.
I want to hear this. I've not heard anything like this before in the outdoor community, or frankly anywhere. Maybe there's some other things that are similar, but I've not heard it. I like the perspective of the conceit of what we're going to be answering versus just another, to your point, like, well, it's springtime again, and now we're back at Mount Everest. Guess what? Some stuff is happening. And, and it's just that kind of repeated sort of cadence of the same kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Getting your perspective on it is great. I love to then weigh in because we can then do the kind of more bantery thing that we enjoy doing on this particular episode. We love a good banter. But then also, given yours especially, but then our combined sort of expanded network of, well, who do we want to bring in?
Yeah, that's exciting.
Maybe it is our pal Justin Hausman for a little gear and beer. Maybe it is another journalist. Maybe it is an expert from something that we don't even know about yet. Let's have them come in and help answer a question.
Yeah.
And I think it's just this incredibly rich sandbox that we're going to get to play in and bring something to the outdoor community that doesn't really exist at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think for people, like a lot of you listening are probably, I would think that you enjoy being outside in some capacity, even if you're in a store all day or in an office all day. Even if you think, oh, is this for beginners? What is this for? It's not. It's for everybody. The questions are going to run the gamut from pretty basic introductory questions to things you may never have considered or thought about. And that's the fun of it, is that the whole thing is meant to be entertaining. Colin and I have our little special magical podcasting chemistry together, and we hope that translates in this so that it's fun to listen to. That's the whole point. Do you want to laugh in your car while you're driving to work or, to whatever you're doing this weekend? Are you going skiing? I mean, if you're going skiing this weekend, I want to know where you are because it's still hot.
We're big down in southern hemisphere.
My knee pits are sweating. Knee pits. Yeah. But
I think I'm looking at this to your point about what are these questions for? And the first few episodes that we recorded, there's some basics in there, kind of think some table setting questions, but also this is your chance then, listeners, to challenge Gear Abby. Like send some weird stuff. I mean, I think frankly, the weirder we love a weird anything.
Oh,
frankly. Like send your weird stuff in.
Yeah.
It will probably make the show if it's a weird question.
I will say the very first question on the very first episode, my mom wrote in, and it is ridiculous. So I was like, Mom, 100%. You really want me to answer that? She's like, yeah.
But that's the beauty of it, too, is because you're speaking from your personal experience, well, then me either kind of nodding along or poking fun or whatever, even a more basic question is going to be, have a great answer. So
yeah, so if you want to hear me make fun of myself, if you want to hear me make fun of Colin, but I will never, ever make fun of the people asking the questions. So
I will.
No judgment. Colin will silently judge because if he judges out loud, I will berate him on the podcast. I will cry some more, Colin. Do you want me to cry more?
No crying. No more crying.
No crying in podcasts.
There's no crying in podcasts. Favorite line from a League of Their Own, when he signs the kid's ball. He's like, wow, avoid the clap, Jimmy Dugan. He's like, that's good advice.
I mean.
I'm like, I couldn't believe they put that movie. I'm like, what?
Dear Abby, how do I avoid the clap?
I'm hiking the long trail in Vermont this summer. What is your advice for avoiding the clap?
Let me call up on one of my experts, Colin, who has successfly avoided the clap his entire life.
That's right.
To my knowledge. I don't actually know.
Your knowledge.
Yeah, this could all be a lie. It's clap-ridden.
all the famous brothels of Vermont's Long Trail.
Deeply clappy. I feel like the clap is something you could maybe get on the AT. I don't know. It seems possible. The clap, the plague.
Hantavirus or clap. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a chlamydia or hantavirus. Yeah.
What a choice.
So that's what we have going on, guys. I mean, kind of short episode. I think anything else you want to say about Gear Abby, or do you want me to ask you?
I'd say if you haven't already listened to Open Container this week, it feels very strange to plug myself, but Doug is a great interviewer. This man is a profesh, and he did his research, and we had a great conversation. So I think part of it, you'll learn a little bit more about me if you want to. And then part of it, you'll learn a little bit more about why Gear Abby is going to be different. So.
It's time for a party shot.
All right, parting shot time. And because I made Shawnté cry today, I'm going to step aside and give the parting shot to Shawnté.
I want to know what your parting shot was, though. I didn't
end up writing it because I felt bad.
This is the best thing is that Colin and I share notes every week for the episode that we'll never record again. And it says under parting shot, it just says, Jeep Cherokee is not back. No explanation.
All right, fine. Real quick.
Nothing else.
If you click the link, you'll see that Jeep has re-released the Cherokee. And it's like, the Jeep Cherokee's back. I think it's a Gear Junkie article or something like that. fuck off. It is not back. The Jeep Cherokee should only be back if you brought back the old school, boxy-looking
I want
Cherokee.
That square business.
Goddamn right. I'm like, if they had never gotten rid of it, which was a mistake in 2000, 2001. By the way, a Jeep Cherokee funded the rock fight for like a year. So I sold my Jeep in order to fund the podcast. So that's like that. So this is very personal to me. So, but if they had never gotten rid of it and it had slowly evolved into what you see in this article today, great. But you didn't. So if you're going to bring it back the way it's supposed to look.
See? You almost didn't get a chance to rant, Colin.
Well, I wasn't going to. But you opened the door and I stepped
How could you
through
do that to the people? Don't deny them your rants, old man.
The people need my parting shot.
They need your fist shaking at the sky.
God damn it, Jeep!
All right.
All right. What's your parting shot?
My parting shot. So originally Colin suggested that I make my parting shot about how he's taking away one of my joys in life
Take it at me.
by removing this. My parting shot was going to be at Colin. But I was like, no, dude, I've got something better. So my parting shot is actually about all of the women out there smashing FKTs, that's fastest known times, on long trails right now. So earlier this month, Caroline, I want to say it with a French accent, Imbert. Caroline Himbert, sorry, Caroline, I should have looked this up before getting on the mic, completed the 223, give or take, mile JMT, that's John Muir Trail, Numu Poyo in the Paiute language, northbound in 4 days, 4 hours, and 58 minutes to set a new unsupported, that means nobody's coming out there and helping her, new unsupported female record on that trail. Last month, Tara Dowser set a supported record for any gender. Any gender
Dower.
At all. Did I say Dowser?
You said Dowser. Yeah.
I don't know why, but every time I see her name, I think Bowser, even though none of
No, I'm with you. I immediately knew what you were going with.
I'm thinking Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tara. Really, this is why Colin's kicking me off the pod.
Do you want to leave that in or do you want to start it over and just
in.
re-record it? Okay.
So Tara Dower, whose name I know, and just said wrong, set a supported record for any gender on Vermont's 272-mile long trail, completing it in 3 days, 18 hours, 30 minutes, and 7 seconds. Now, that is almost 3 hours off the men's record and nearly 2 days off the women's record. So here's the thing. While people have been chasing speed records for decades on some of these trails, it wasn't until ultra runner Peter Backwin, who, by the way, was the first person to document completing the JMT in under 4 days back in 2003, when he launched fastestknowntime.com, that there was a way of kind of keeping tabs on all of these efforts in one place. Still, it was very much a male-dominated thing to kind of keep
You don't
chasing.
say.
Yeah, shocking, I know. I know. But yeah, so it was Dude Bro Central. Really, it was Jennifer Farr Davis who busted ass to set the overall, that's any gender again, supported record on the Appalachian Trail in 2011 in 46 days, 11 hours, and 20 minutes. Then
That's bonkers.
Yeah, I know.
I know that's been broken. It's still
long-ass
bonkers.
trail.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's even crazier that people continue to break these records. But
Yeah.
you had Heather Anish Anderson. She went on to become the fastest self-supported person of any gender on the PCT in 2013 and the AT in 2015. And just last year, our old friend Tara Dower became the fastest person of any gender to complete a supported run on the AT. So I also think about how last year Jasmine Paris became the first woman to win the notorious Barkley Marathons, right? And even if you go beyond trails into running as a whole, I think about how Allison Felix surpassed the iconic Carl Lewis to become the most decorated track and field Olympic athlete of all time. So I know people like to bitch about speed records, like, oh, FKTs, these people are missing out on the fun of the trail. They don't see anything while they're out there, which is funny because I've interviewed all of it, like Jennifer Farr Davis. I've interviewed Anish, Heather Anderson. I remember Heather in particular saying, what can't I see at 3 miles an hour that everybody else is seeing? Like I see it all just fine. I just am out there for longer. But people really love to hate on FKTs. And listen, I'm not going out there. I'm not about to run any of this shit. But I said, instead of complaining that somehow runners are ruining long trails, which I hear all the time from people, backpackers love to bitch about these FKT folks. Instead of saying like, oh, these guys are ruining long trails by attempting all these speed records, how about we just celebrate the fact that there's these incredible accomplishments of women doing things that people never thought we could do. And I think it's incredible that humans in general can keep pushing the boundaries, but I fucking love seeing women knock it out of the park. Whether or not you love an FKT, this is something to celebrate.
Let's not leave out former Rock Fight guest Sonny Stroher, who set a record up on the Iditarod last year.
Oh, yeah. No,
skis?
I mean, all over the place. Women are doing cool shit. And just...
There's been some AZT records recently.
Yeah. This is all the stuff I wish I could have seen when I was a kid. It's like, I think about the very first time. So 2 years ago, maybe, or maybe even last year, I went to see the women's soccer team here in LA for the very first time. And it was my first time seeing a professional women's soccer team. And I got really teary-eyed because I thought about, they kept panning to kids in the audience, kids of all genders, like cheering them on. And I'm like, oh my God, I played soccer for 13 years. I never got to see that. Like, it was really emotional. That was a good time for crying.
The whitest thing, the whitest thing ever is the discounting what it means to see someone who looks like you, right? And there's a guy I follow on Instagram who is a black dude who just got into ice hockey, and then through the NHL draft was then talking about how some team drafted another black guy or whatever. And he's like, that guy looks like me. It's so awesome. And it's like, you don't understand how powerful it is to see someone who looks like you to do these things. And it's like, yeah, that just kind of makes sense. I don't know why this is.
I mean, think about it. Kids then grow up with less restrictions and less paradigms that they think they only fit. Like, the box gets bigger for these kids. It just keeps, the container, as we like to say, just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So
don't plug Doug's show anymore. We've already plugged it enough.
Open container. The best episode was on yesterday.
Oh, is it better than Owen's episode?
Oh, no. I don't want to say it's better than Owen's.
That's what she's saying. I do want to point out that as we were texting about some of these things, for a lovely parting shot.
Thanks.
However, you did say that you'll never understand how it's fun to do this.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I feel like vomiting when I go on a run on a hot day. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I love running. I love hiking. I love these trails. But, I definitely see the appeal. I've thought about doing, the Tahoe Rim Trail is a little shorter than the JMT Numupoyo. I've thought about, can I knock that out in a week? Because that's a little easier to take time off work. That's how some people actually get into these things.
Sure.
They want to see the landscape. They don't have a ton of time off. But then I think about how tiring it is. And I've done Liz Snorkel Thomas, who's the co-founder and editor over at Treeline Review. She and I have done a lot of backpacking together, and we did a trip once where every single day was a marathon, like a literal marathon of miles on the trail. And it was something like 5,000, 6,000 feet of gain every single day. It was brutal. I would not want to do that for 46 days or whatever Heather did on the AT. That's nuts.
Well, I'm going to take that as a commitment that the Tahoe 200, which is a circumnavigation of Lake Tahoe, that a lot of people take 5 days to finish. I forget what the cutoff is for that race.
Yeah.
It's technically a really long ultramarathon. I will crew for you. I've crewed that race before.
Have you really?
All right. Yeah. Crewed my buddy Bryce with his sister. It was great.
Wow.
We had a good time. And there you go. You can have we'll the last Wednesday episode of the Rock Fight. This will be the commitment we make. Once you complete it, we'll bring Wednesdays back. There you go. Dangle that.
Okay. All right. I'll get on that. I'll get right on that, Rose.
All right. That's it for today, everybody. Like Shawnté said, we want your email. Send them to myrockfight@gmail.com. The Rock Fight's a production of Rock Fight LLC. For Shawnté Salabert, I'm Colin True. Thank you for listening. Krista Biggs is going to sing us out with the Rock Fight song. And we'll see you next time, Rock Fighters.
Rock fight.